Hi, welcome to my channel and welcome back. I'm Beth, and my channel is dedicated to victims of romance scam, also known as, or better known as, relationship fraud. Scams are crimes perpetrated by criminals, not scammers. Scammers are criminals. Uh, I wanted to talk today about a comment, and I've made the decision to vet all comments for the sake of victims, because I'm not going to tolerate victim blaming on this channel. And as I've mentioned before, while I can take it, new victims who are fresh out, or even still in, or who have not recovered properly, that it can be very damaging. So I want to talk about this particular comment because there is a lot to unpack here, and it's very common thoughts that people have. So I'll just quickly read it. It says, I'm not convinced you're actually a quote unquote victim. What I do think is that you let your heart quite literally rule your head, and common sense suffered a big blackout. I'm not sure he's a very sophisticated liar either. And goodness me, tedious would it be to the average person to spend so much time speaking to, but never meeting someone? And the issue of money, you must have really sent your brain out to dry falling for that old trick. Okay, there is so much wrong here. um, and victims understand that this is a perfect example of victim blaming and totally disregarding the crime and the criminals, and instead blaming and judging the victim. This is what victims are up against. This comment is void of the reality of the crime and instead reflects this person's own fears and cognitive biases. And this is a common lack of understanding of the complex and magnitude of this kind of crime. Um, my crime was 16 months, every day, every night, every minute of 16 months. And even then, after it ended, it just didn't end. It takes quite a while to even begin to regain cognitive ability again. And the psychological damage and literally every part of one's being um, is destroyed. For me and many other victims that I personally know, this is the case. It destroyed every part of me, myself, my identity, any self esteem I had, any self worth I had. Um, Not to mention, like I said, the cognitive problems. When this ended, I couldn't even sign my name. I was literally destroyed from inside out. Um, this crime takes lives every single day. So I'm going to dissect this comment. Like I said, there's a lot here. First, his opinion that whether I'm actually a victim is not true, because in fact, I am a victim of the crime of fraud. And this is a proven fact supported by evidence and the years and resources of investigation by local and federal law enforcement. So it is actually a big crime. Second, the heart did rule the head. Exactly. That is called an amygdala hijack, which happens during the manipulation of this crime. It's not a voluntary thing. It's a violation by a criminal, a violent violation, actually. This level of manipulation causes actual changes in the brain. It's mind control. Look it up for yourself. It's a real thing. And be careful, because people who think that this could never happen to them are actually the most vulnerable. Look that up too. And it was actually a big blackout. That's because when the amygdala is hijacked due to manipulation, common sense or logical thinking is bypassed. It bypasses the frontal cortex of your brain, where logic and common sense and thinking happens. The criminals know this. They know how to manipulate this part of the brain, and they do it very well. And it can happen to absolutely anyone. Um, when the amygdala is hijacked, it makes it impossible to access common sense or logic. It's the emotional part of the brain, and that's why this manipulation works. And like I said, the criminals know this, and they gain control over you in this way. Um, Third, it's not rocket science to be evil and a criminal. One just has to be lacking morals and values to be willing to do this to another human being. These are professional, transnational criminal organizations, and they train those that are willing how to do this to other people. Usually, these organizations are structured like multi-level businesses, the multi-level marketing organizations. This is trillions of dollars per year globally. So this isn't just a scammer. Um, Sometimes it's lone wolf, but that's highly unusual. Most of the trillions come from these organizations, and some of the good folks associated with these kinds of organizations are like the likes of Black Axe. Look that up. Fourth, how tedious it was to spend so much time with the criminals. Yes, absolutely exhausting. And that's the whole plan. The criminals keep victims tired, I mean, exhausted, tired, through the constant communications. They keep they keep the line tight. And for me, in my experience, it was all day, um, all night, off and on for hours, sometimes at a time, all hours of the day and night. So I was always just totally exhausted. Um, and finally, I would say that I am naturally a trusting person. I used to be a lot more trusting. Now, obviously, I have to have a guard up and I have to actually work against my trusting instincts and realize that not everybody's good, especially strangers online. So, that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. Um, I will be back soon with another video. I've been kind of tied up lately, but I'm going to be doing a video soon on sextortion, mainly with kids, with teenagers, even sometimes younger. This is a huge problem, and parents need to know about this. It's another one that's taken lives every day of innocent kids, and it's tragic. So I just wanted to reach out about this today and talk about a comment, because sometimes these comments are a great way to address some of the problems, um, including victim blaming. And another problem that I have is with channels and media who exploit victims for their own business. There is nothing entertaining about this at all. Nothing entertaining. This is not for entertainment. My channel is not for entertainment. This is to help victims and to spread awareness. So please like and share and subscribe. and it helps me get my message out to more people. Thank you. Take care.